Episode 23, Wayward Camp. With Sig and Brett disappearing, the six found themselves with a group of refugees from the town, those who had made it without being tethered. They decided they would head into the direction of the capital city of all weathers, Marigold. Together with the refugees of Sigenbrat, they formed a bastion. This is a system that allows the party to bring in weekly income and a hub to rest and resupply at that will grow alongside them. As part of their bastion, each of the six built specific stations for the moving camp. Indrasa built an arcane study, with Salandril works out of, and a library which Holt occupies his time in. Desmond built a smithy and a bounty board. V built a mercenary camp, which Gas helps find mercenaries for, and a storehouse. Carlisle built a hospital tent and garden for poisons and potions alike. Morgaine built a sanctum and barracks, and finally Tack built a decorative garden and a workshop where Shoebill makes clothing from. On the road through the Glamglades, the six met with a Summer Eladrin who was part of the Fae Summer Guard. She was meant to deal with a group of trollpaths, a troll that grows from the badly digested remains of another troll's feces, but was too slow to act. And now they've grown far beyond her control. No, I wouldn't. I have a stronger stomach than to be put off by a little fecal creation such as a trollpath, but I was duty to deal with it prior to it growing into a problem.
Right. Duty to deal with it.
Duty. I get it. That's good. That's funny. I get it.
All right.
That's one I get.
Duty.
She asks that they deal with them for her, and the party agree. The six combat the trolls beside a river, where they've eaten a considerable amount of the portion of forest, and quickly dispatch of the creatures before returning to camp. Episode 24, A Road to Beauty. The six find a magical card in the depths of the Glamglades that turns out to contain a tidy bugbear named Alistair of the Explorers Guild. He'd been trapped inside one of these cards, which belonged to the deity known as the Dealer. He'd been gambling with cloud giants and ended up pulling a bad card.
Finally, a use for that sleight of hand.
I'm just picturing
So I'm
Morgaine
gonna
doing
climb
it.
this tree here.
I'm picturing
I'm gonna tilt it one way.
This is so Looney
Tilt
Tunes.
it the other way.
if Morgaine did it, the reaction speed would be like the person doing it, like just doing it like.
That dude's neck immediately like breaks.
No, they would like come out, and then Morgan would be like, "Are they out?"
He joins their campsite, and the party undergo ordering their bastion to perform different tasks, such as searching for bounties and researching into topics for later. The six finally reach Marigold after a week-long journey, and see the bustling city in the distance. Outside of the city are several smaller districts. They attempt to enter the city from the western gate, and then you need wrist passes with your identity on to enter, which take weeks to process. Choosing to find an alternate means, the party sign up for a tournament, the Tournament of the Small, a 2v2 bracket battle. The winners would gain passes into the city. They meet two participants in general, an automaton named Sir Meadow and his accompaniment, Sir Cario, an elven lady, and notice some flirtatious tension between the two. We end up with the group making their way to Humming Hole, in the outer district of Hummingway, seeking out a tavern. Episode 25, Dice and Dining. After resting, the party decide to try some of the local delicacies, including a wizard drink that has all the schools of magic in it and a basilisk bite, which gives you a jug to unpetrify the slab of meat. They decide to head out to the outer district of Little Petal, one known for its close relation to criminal organizations. They see execution being performed by Luxian priests, the most established religion in Hyloma, dedicated to Kyla, the sun goddess. Avoiding them, they head over to a group playing a dice game and proceed to join in. Raiders Dice has a party winning a small sum of gold before being told about the Rotten Apple and the Worm, a tavern where they might find entry into the city, but for the right price.
Yeah, why not make it 80? Why not make it 100?
What a persuasion check.
Sorry, guys.
Why don't we not as 20?
Do you still have the dice in your mouth?
Yep, you can see the little blue.
Amazing.
27.
Damn.
100
He's
gold.
positive he's gonna steal our money now.
You want to do 100
shit.
gold? Let's do 100 gold.
Yeah, 100 gold.
All right.
Okay. Why 200?
No matter to me.
In the back rooms of the tavern, they run into two other vault wardens from Morgaine's chapter. The knighted half-elf of the two, Sir Valacia, informs Sir Morgaine she's trying to head into the city but has no pass and provides a letter to her in case she makes it in first. The letter is deciphered by the group and seems to be directions to meet with an informant about people going missing inside the city. The six meet with the owner of the tavern, Garen the Halfmane, a Leoran belonging to the Solar Young. He tells them he could get them in with fake passes made if they rob a shipment of weapons being brought into the city by a Hadozi merchant working for their competitors, the Peck. Episode 26, Best Laid Plans. Before their small robbery mission, the six head back to their camp and meet with Sister Abigail, who gives them a progress update on Spring. She seems to be gaining memories quickly, and also warns them that Marigold is filled with liars and snakes. Be cautious. Silas the Bard asks if they could deliver his guild fees to the Orchestra of Wanderers, a tavern and orchestral group within the Mirror District of Marigold. Lastly, the party buy the extra bag of holding from Vanderval, who also asks them for a favour. He needs them to get a table of transmutation from a Camion, a chameleon-like species called Gelixir the Glowing Wrench. Gelixir is incapable of lying, but very good at reading lies. When the party finally head out at night, they make their way to Hummingway to find the merchant with their weaponry. They successfully knock out 2 of the guards outside, and with the use of a silence spell put in the right place, make no noise to alert any more guards.
This has the opportunity for it to be one of the cleanest things we may ever
No,
do.
Yeah.
for real. We will never be
Investigation
this successful
if-
ever again.
Like, none
Yeah.
but net on this shit. Like,
Investigation
we just get the fuck
is-
out of here.
They easily steal the shipment of armor and weapons without being noticed and deliver it back to Garen. Whilst he has the passes being made by a gnomish tinkerer, the six decide to pass the time by joining the Tournament of the Small. They split off into groups of 2, Desmond with Carlisle, Morgaine with Andrasa, and Tak with V. After winning their first rounds, the party prepares for their next opponents. Episode 27, Tournament of the Small. The six each fight their secondary opponents, from 2 living armors controlled by someone in the crowd to Sir Meadow and Sir Cario, the unkindled lovers. The party all make it through to the next round, so Morgaine and Andrasa bow out knowing they'd be fighting friends in round 3. Eventually, the tournament leads to Desmond and Carlisle versus Tak and V, but the party push for it to be a one-on-one between Desmond and Tak, who put on a performance like no other and pretend to fight the entire time before finally Desmond is named the victor. As they take their winnings, they no longer have the need for the 2 winners' passes, so they give one to Sir Cario, as Sir Meadow already had one, and one to Sir Valacia, the Vault Warden. Sir Valacia informs Sir Morgan that the Dreadvault has new orders. Only catch those in the top level and kill the rest. They gain their fake passes and head in through the Mirror District within the city's walls. They learn that the Mirror District is enchanted to allow you to cast Alter Self on yourself once per day. A courier gives them a letter from an unknown, a man named Lord Cogsworth, inviting them to dinner.
Dear the Six, I invite the 6 of you to dine, all of you, at my humble estate.
Okay.
It is located past the watered streets in the stem. You'll see an iron fence with iron tips of wilted wheat. If you are lost, just ask around for Wilted Wheat Manor. We have similar interests and matters to discuss. It would do me a great honor if you would join me, Lord Cogworth.
They decide to ignore it for now and go to rest in an inn only to receive another needy letter from him, this time inviting him to breakfast the following morning. The group rest up in the inn. Episode 28, Rumour Has It. When waking in the morning, Tak finds a letter in her bag which has a series of Z's on it. Unsure who was able to slip into her room that night, the party begin to search for a spy, invisible or otherwise, but can't seem to find anyone. They decide to head out to the Stem district, which is undergoing a festival of the frog, one based around luck. V buys herself a frog to free it from captivity, releasing a bunch more in the process. The six finally go over to Lord Cogsworth House and find a manor in the most densely populated portion of the city, though this looks as if it's avoided by the common folk. Opening the door to them is a skinny Dhampir named Killian. He leads them inside to meet his lord. They're greeted by a large, tidily dressed gift. They question how he knew who they were and where they were, and Lord Cogsworth reveals that he's been spying on them. Tak's bag shapeshifts to reveal a half-mimic, half-plasmoid creature named Clarb, or otherwise known as Rumour. Angered by the deception, the party demand answers. Lord Cogsworth claims that he's on their side, and has been investigating the knowledge of these vaults for some time, and when the event happened at Crownheart Hall, he asked his informant Clarb to attach himself to the group. He did not know then just how much they would find. Trying to win the party's trust, he gives them information from within the city and offers to help fund their camp's growth. They agree. Lord Cogsworth informs the Six that he was once an investigator and looked into a half-lich named Kellir Saradin. He learned that he was a herald for the child of the three, Decay. Seeking more answers, he's tried to find information about these heralds and the vaults since then. He informs them there is a vault that has been opened for the past 8 years in Marigold, but is defended heavily by the Luxian Church and the Ulcra family, who lead the city. They're pawns to the Luxian Church. Recently, inquisitors from the church have been coming to the city and guards have increased around the vault area. He also offers the help of Clarb to the group, telling them that Clarb has the ability to share imagery telepathically from vast distances. Clarb imprints onto Carlisle and the two form a bond. He also reveals himself to be the prankster behind the Z's letters. Upon leaving, the party head to Jilixer the Glowing Wrench's shop and end up convincing him to come with them to their camp, as apparently the favour in which he owes Vandervold formed when Vandervold convinced his people, by lying, that Jilixer was an incredibly capable tinkerer. It couldn't be further from the truth. Throw that in the pile.
Is there a quota that you have to bring back?
No, but there's the respect amount, you know. If someone brings back a lot to the pile, then there's a lot of respect to be had there. I've never gone back to the pile in years.
Sure, because everyone loves
Yeah.
you and they'll just sort of swarm you.
I left when I was 9.
You're such a dick.
Episode 29, Shopping Spree. Before going back to the camp, the Six decide to go shopping around the city. They buy upgrades to their armor, necessary potions, and browse a bunch of stores, from bakeries to a toy shop. They finally settle down in a brothel tavern and have long-awaited heart-to-hearts. V tells the group she left home quickly, but had no intention to initially leave, leaving it vague to the group. She tells them she has enjoyed her experiences in the greater world outside the land without light. Carlisle came from Seeker's Luck, but it hasn't been there for about 20 years or so. He'd like to go back sometime, but he doesn't have any family there to speak of. Androssa tells the group about her sister and her once famous grandfather from the War of the Stolen Sun. She says it has been 50 years or so since she last was at home in Azarain's Gambit. It's named for her grandfather, but she spent the last few decades in Steelmane. Tak goes into more depth about the rebellion in her home from 5 years ago and how she changes face and almost takes on aspects of the people she becomes. They get to talking about their homes in general.
This is a weird topic of discussion, a brothel, but I suppose you all are a little weird.
We're weird.
In a good way.
We are all homeless.
Well, home is where the heart is.
Do you?
Eloquently put.
I don't believe that personally, but
That makes no sense. It is here, beating in my chest.
right. The idea is that home is wherever you are.
Me?
No, I think it's...
Well, yes.
I am in a
For yourself.
brothel.
Yes.
No,
That's why it doesn't really work.
And Morgaines is with her order back near the Dreadful, but she feels like it is losing its original purpose. Desmond doesn't have fond memories of his home and wouldn't mind it being burned to the ground. He tells the group he was only 11 when he was put into his automaton form, against his will. All of the group half-jokingly agrees to help burn the town if they ever stop by it. V reflects that the group is not homeless, as they have their camp and each other. Episode 30, Portals of Holding. The Six return to their camp and find members of the Consort's initiative have been questioning people around their camp. Their policing forbidden magic hunters are searching for 3 individuals: Kios, which the party recently learned was involved in the disappearances that Morgaine's letter was connected to. They are searching for a Dreamspawn, an unusual creature that has eluded them. And finally, the third one was Spring. The party feign not knowing and are given a tracking chip that the Consort's initiative pretend is only used to contact them if they find anything, but the party recognize it as more. They give the chip to Vandervold to hold onto and introduce Jilixer to him, who he is none too happy to see.
Brought your friend.
Yes.
Just like
Great.
you asked, if you recall.
Jilixer the Glowing Range, fantastic to see you. So where should I set up shop? Should I work in your place or where are we going? Just stand where you are for now whilst I talk to our friends here. Did you get the table at least? All right.
Plenty.
Yeah. Okay. Jilixer the Glowing Ranch, can you do me a favour? Just watch the road. Keep a keen eye out there, all right, mate? And he's like, yeah, of course, Mr. Vanderbilt. I'll do that just that. He just kind of turns, starts facing around and goes, You fucking
Where do you want the table?
Bring it inside. Bring it inside. Keep a keen eye out. Vandervold brings up the torn bag of holding and how he's been looking into where it might teleport to. He informs the party that he has a contact, Argonon, a young emerald dragon who has been looking into the matter with him. They learn that it connects to a series of other bags of holding and, eventually, a treasury to the bagman himself. Undermining him, Argonon was gathering a group of adventurers to go hunting for the treasure for his own gain, and gave them a horde drake to sniff it out. Vandervold says he wishes to go with the six, and conjures a plan. Place a bag of holding with another one, a torn bag of holding, and keep teleporting through the bags till they find the treasury at the end, no matter where it might lead. Before leaving, the party visit Abigail to update her on everything, and learn she wiped the memory of her consort initiative mage who was snooping too close to Spring. They learn that Spring has tiny ley lines instead of veins going throughout her entire body. She is incredibly powerful. The party set off with Vandervold and head through the first bag. They come across a foreign adventuring party, 2 yetis in ice-capped glades, a sphinx who riddles them about bags, and finally end up in darkness, with a mind flare looming over a corpse holding a bag of holding. And that will be it for episodes 23 to 30. If you'd like to catch up live on Sunforged, it comes on every week at 3:30 PM ET or 8:30 PM British Standard Time. Thanks everyone for listening, and we hope to see you on the live show or on the next recap.